Picture this. You are literally at the absolute peak of your professional career. You've battled through grueling competition, defied all the odds, and you're officially part of an unprecedented 2026 World Cup run. The energy is electric, the fans are roaring, and then boom. Total logistical chaos strikes just days before the biggest match your country has ever seen. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're mapping out the off-pitch nightmare that just hit the Norwegian national squad right in the middle of their historic tournament run. We're going to break down exactly what went wrong, how the team reacted, and of course, the massive fan fallout. So what could actually disrupt an elite, highly tuned athletic team right before the biggest match in their history? You might think of a sudden injury, a tactical leak, maybe some internal team drama. But what if the threat isn't on the pitch at all? What if the nightmare is literally the place you're supposed to be resting and recovering? Let's look at the massive stakes at play here before we uncover the gritty details of what went down in Miami. Section 1. A historic quarterfinal clash. This Saturday night, Norway faces off against England in a historic 2026 World Cup quarterfinal in Miami. And guys, this isn't just another game. This is widely considered the single biggest match in Norway's modern football history. This is a team that brought their own chefs, curated their own food, and dialed in every single detail of their environment to absolute perfection. Because when you're going up against a powerhouse like England in a knockout stage, flawless preparation is absolutely critical. You literally cannot afford to lose a single percentage point of performance. Section 2. The one-night Miami disaster. After a super successful run earlier in the tournament, the team traveled down to South Florida to set up their base camp for the quarterfinal. They checked into their FIFA-partnered accommodation, the Dalmar, in Fort Lauderdale, but it resulted in a sudden emergency evacuation after just a single night. Why? Well, the sheer volume of issues reported was staggering. According to widespread reports, they walked into rooms with alleged mold and smoke residue. Right outside the windows, a massive loud construction site and heavy street traffic noise. Plus, it was almost 4 kilometers away from the beach, so a relaxing, fresh air recovery walk was totally out of the question. But the absolute worst part? An actual sickness bug started spreading among the players. We are talking top-tier athletes coughing and rasping just days before the game. It's a complete nightmare. Section 3. Expectation versus reality. To fully grasp the shockwaves this sent through the Norwegian camp, you've got to compare this to what they were used to. Before Florida, their base was the Grandover Resort in North Carolina, a 4.5-star haven. We're talking 2 championship golf courses, a massive spa, and total quiet isolation. It was specifically chosen so stars like Haaland and Martin Odegaard could recharge. Contrast that serene luxury with the Dalmar's noisy traffic, construction, and alleged mold. The whiplash of moving from a world-class sanctuary into a potentially health-hazardous environment overnight, just completely unacceptable for a team at this level. Section 4. The emergency relocation. The team's leadership knew they had a disaster on their hands and had to act fast. World Cup boss Truls Stahli put it bluntly. He said, "There were some things we would like to have seen differently. We have steered clear of cabin fever, and we did not want any risk of that now." He emphasized that after 6 successful, healthy weeks in the U.S., heading into the biggest game of their lives, they simply refused to take any risks with the players' physical or mental health. They had to get out of there immediately. The players, though, kept remarkably cool. Captain Martin Odegaard stated, "There were some things that could have run better, and we fixed them, simply to prepare us for an important game in the best possible way." Notice the calm leadership there. No panic. He acknowledges the chaos but immediately pivots focus right back to England. It's honestly a masterclass in keeping a squad grounded. So, according to local news and fan sightings, the team quickly relocated to the Four Seasons. This move immediately gave the squad a much safer, significantly cleaner location to breathe fresh air, escape the noise, and try to recover that lost day of rest eaten up by moving an entire national team operation on a moment's notice. Section 5. Footing the upgrade bill. $250. Based on reports, that was the baseline nightly cost covered by FIFA for the originally partnered hotel, the Dalmar. That is the standard budget allocation for a team's accommodation. But as you can guess, moving a whole team to a luxury property like the Four Seasons at the absolute last minute vastly exceeds $250 a night. While FIFA reportedly showed understanding and approved the emergency move, they didn't just hand over a blank check. The Norwegian Football Federation actually had to step up and pay the difference out of pocket to secure the upgrade. For them, ensuring the health and focus of their players was worth whatever the financial hit might be.
Section 6. Fan outrage and conspiracies.
Naturally, when a breakdown like this happens on the world stage, the internet absolutely explodes. On forums like Reddit, fan reactions quickly split into three camps. First, conspiracy theories. Some fans claim organizers intentionally book subpar hotels to disadvantage smaller nations, supposedly clearing the path for traditional giants like Argentina. Second, logistical critiques. Many are just baffled why elite athletes in a multi-billion-dollar tournament aren't defaulted into guaranteed luxury brands right from the start. And finally, local realities. A lot of commenters push back on the conspiracies, noting that South Florida just has unique urban challenges. Heavy traffic, street noise, and varied hotel standards are just typical for a busy city like Fort Lauderdale, not some grand plot against Norway.
What really added fuel to the conspiracy fire, though, is history. Fans were quick to point out that the Norwegian women's team reportedly suffered from a strikingly similar hotel issue back in 2019, where they also had to move due to sickness risks. For some fans, this was all the proof they needed that smaller nations consistently draw the short straw. We're just mapping out the conversation here, but it is absolutely fascinating how historical precedent shapes today's narrative.
Which brings us to the final massive question of this explainer. Will this logistical nightmare, the lost day of rest, the coughing bug, and all this hotel chaos actually derail Norway's historic run? Or will overcoming this off-pitch adversity actually fuel their fire and unite them even further as they step out against England? Literally everything is on the line. The prep has been chaotic, but the whistle is about to blow. Definitely keep all this in mind when you watch them play. That wraps up our deep dive into the source material today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes on the pitch.